Hello, welcome to another episode of Crypto Noob. So it's a bit ironic, the subject of this week's discussion, which is Bitcoin Billionaires by Max Marish, because it's the book of how the Winklevoss twins got into crypto. I read about this online and I thought that might be interesting to follow up. And it did turn out to be quite an informative book for me, more about the history of early Bitcoin. And it's not the earliest point of Bitcoin, but just at the point where the Winklevoss twins came in. Everybody's, I'm sure, has seen The Social Network and knows a little bit about Mark Zuckerberg's stealing the Winklevoss software to create the evil empire that is Facebook. And this book really kind of brings up a very interesting point. You know, in the movie, they're kind of portrayed as entitled douchebag, rowers, but, their father's wealth only came, much later in life. And even though they come from a life of privilege, it's not, this generational wealth. And the thing I really liked about it was that it's these guys rediscovering themselves after, this huge thing with Facebook and getting a black eye. The point that the author makes is that, Silicon Valley had, bought into the Mark Zuckerberg storyline. And these guys were just kind of jerks. They were trying to hang on to his technology. And that's not the case. At least I don't believe that's the case. And then, they saw an opportunity with Bitcoin back in 2010, I think, with this guy, Charlie Shrem. And when you see how Frankenstein things are back then, you realize just how far we've come and probably just how far we're going to be in a few years. Anyway, they were dealing with it back in the Mt. Gox days, which is the, notorious Magic the Gathering place where all crypto had to go through back in the earliest days, and it was hacked. And it also deals with the Silk Road, which was used to sell drugs and hitmen, which I don't know how much of that I believe, but I do believe it was a way to buy things that were illegal. And what I really like about it too is it deals with the two ends of Bitcoin. They're the establishment end, and we see what comes out of the establishment point of view, which is, this thing that works like a regular exchange and has little pieces of UX that try to suck as much money as they can out of you. So in that aspect, I don't, as you know, I'm not a big fan of Gemini, but that they came on and adopted Bitcoin in its earlier days. They were the ones who gave legitimacy to this, this currency, which was just known for the Silk Road, which was, about 5% of all Bitcoin purchases back in the day. Anyway, fascinating history. I really recommend it if you're wanting to learn a little bit more of history of early Bitcoin. There's some other ones I read about the cypherpunks and other things. I may do reviews on other books as I go along. Let me know in the commentary if you want to know more about books. But yeah, I would give this a thumbs up. Understand that the author's a little bit in love with these two guys. These guys aren't, they're not, the heroes that he makes them out to be, but it is a really interesting look at, two guys back in the earliest days of Bitcoin, just trying to maneuver their way through this really clunky system. And, just how thankful we should be that it's where it's at now. And hopefully, in the near future, the DeFi will work much better and we won't have to worry about exchanges like Gemini. Anyway, that's my thoughts, and we'll talk to you next time.